and welcome to another episode of the Roundabout Podcast. This is episode 21. I am your tubular host, Austin Suddeth, and with me I have a buttload of fun, Michael Levine, non-committal Shane Nicewonger, and Tyler Baloney Boy McClellan. How are you gentlemen today?
Non-committal.
What does tubular mean?
You don't know what? You grew up in
like,
the 90s.
Well, I mean, like, are you using it in that sense, or like you like exploring pipes? Are you Mario? Like,
It's a pun.
Okay,
It doesn't have to make
I was trying to figure out
an
what you mean by
overwhelming
this.
amount of sense. It just has to be punny.
It's also I was also thrown off by yours. I didn't really hear what you said for mine.
A buttload of fun.
Oh, okay.
Because
I don't think that's
you
true.
grabbing someone else's butt episode has aired.
Oh, that has come out. Yeah.
That's come out by this point.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I grabbed
This
butt.
is the one time where explaining the joke made it funnier.
Yes. Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, I had one of those moments the other day. Made me feel real good because I've always been told if you explain it, it's not that funny. But
Right.
after I explained it, somebody laughed a lot, so it was worth it.
Well, share with the class.
I would love to, but I honestly don't even remember what it was now.
Didn't happen.
All right. Now I don't think it didn't. Yeah, it just
It
didn't
did.
happen.
It did. I can't. It was in Discord. I know that much. But I have a question for non-committal Shane here. Since he can't commit to much, do you also have a hard time committing to the fact that the Earth is round?
No, the Earth is round.
Where are we gonna go with that?
Well, so I'm curious because I grew up watching. I say I grew up. I got into a kick for a couple years when I was younger of watching the whole flat Earth stuff. Not the people trying to prove flat Earth, but more the people that were making videos of the people trying to prove flat Earth and basically just saying, "Look how stupid this guy is." So over time, I learned a few of these people's names. And just I don't know how long ago this was, but I just recently heard about it within like the last 2 weeks. But one of the big flat Earth YouTubers, the one that was all over the place, I even think he had a Netflix documentary at one point of basically them going around trying to prove flat Earth. If you've ever seen the meme of the guy, they have two cardboard cutouts with holes in them that are a mile or two away, and the whole thing is if they hold the flashlight at a certain height, you'll be able to see it through both of the evenly heighted hold cardboard cutouts.
Uh-huh.
And he's watching it and he's like, okay, so what height are you holding it? And then he tells him to lift it up above his head, which basically would prove that there's a curvature. And he goes and he sees it happen, like sees the light come up on the camera, and he goes, interesting. Like, clearly has no idea how to respond because it disproves his point. But this guy went to Antarctica recently, was invited on a trip to go see the 24-hour sun, which happens, I guess, once every so often in Antarctica. It's a 24-hour day. The sun is always up, which disproves the whole idea of a disk Earth, or whatever they call that flat Earth model they're looking at now. And essentially, long story short, he ended up seeing the 24-hour sun, made a video saying he was wrong, that it kind of disproves everything he's been trying to say. And then immediately his entire fan base is like, guy's a shill, he's fake, they paid him off. Apparently one of the biggest running theories right now is that he was at the Las Vegas Sphere. That's why he was able to see this 24-hour sun, but he didn't realize it. So essentially his fan base is under the impression that somebody got him into the Las Vegas Sphere without him realizing it, with him thinking that he's in Antarctica, showed a 24-hour video of the sun going around, I guess hid the seats, everything else that the Las Vegas Sphere has. And so, but basically it was just funny to me that this guy has spent all these years trying to prove that the Earth is flat, and his fan base, his followers, believed every word he had to say. But then the second he says, nope, I'm wrong, they're like, no, this guy's a liar. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it. I just found that really funny.
Yeah, I heard about the cardboard and the light. I heard about that one. I never really looked into it, but I heard about that whole story, and it's amazing what people will hold on to. Like you said, his followers just like held on to the belief, even though it's like, okay, like don't, because I actually had this in my notes. I'm guessing I'm just gonna ask. Is like this your favorite conspiracy theory? Is like the flat Earth conspiracy theory?
It's my favorite one to watch people try to prove because they will disprove themselves repeatedly and ignore the evidence. That's what's always funny to me. Is
Right.
watching them unintentionally prove themselves wrong over and over and over again for the world to enjoy on video.
Oh yeah, and I've seen like a lot of so we'll get to my favorite conspiracy theory in a minute, but I'm glad you brought this up. But yeah, no, I do love seeing the videos of people being like, "Oh yeah, I'm proving like I'm doing this extravagant like $10,000 excursion kind of thing to prove that it does," and then they get to the end of it and they're like, "Oh, well."
Is there another conspiracy group that is as loud wrong as flat earthers?
I
a good
don't
question.
know.
Like at least some of the others, like take some of the big ones, the moon landing, for example. They at least have some stuff that they can lean on, such as some
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
evidence of it, rocks with studio names printed on them, stuff like that, which most of the stuff's been debunked. But the flat earth stuff, they don't have any sound solid piece of evidence, right? And their whole thing, a lot of them in the videos, at least from what I used to watch, granted I haven't paid any attention to it probably for the last 5 years or more, but the big thing is they all say, I would love to be disproven. I would love for somebody to give me some solid evidence. But then as soon as people do, they're like, what are you talking about? I don't see nothing. I don't see anything. One of my
Yeah, that's what.
favorite.
Yeah, like I mean, that's the thing, right? Like you said, moon landing, aliens, some of those other ones. Like, okay, I can kind of see some of their point of view, right? Like I don't necessarily subscribe to it, but I can understand where they're coming from. But I have not really seen a single successful argument for flat Earth that makes me go, "Oh, I kind of could see that." Partly because we live on the damn thing. Like
Right.
it's not hard to see. You go up on an airplane, you can see the curvature of the horizon,
That's not true.
like I mean,
It is clearly donut shaped.
I told you guys.
Donut-shaped.
I asked the right person my question. I'm Shane's
No,
just
I
a
don't.
closeted flat earther.
I don't subscribe to flat Earth, but it's clearly either one of two things: donut shaped Earth or Minecraft cube Earth.
I like the
What?
cube Earth idea.
How does a donut work?
Well, but
Ask a flat Earth.
First,
It's the same argument.
you're thinking
Just
about
pick
this
your
the wrong
favorite
way,
shape.
Austin. Clearly, the prerequisite for not believing in a globe Earth has no basis in reality or evidence. You don't have
That's
to worry
fair.
about that. You just make up something, yell it on YouTube, and you'll have at least 100,000 people that are like, "This guy's onto something."
I would say the one conspiracy theory that I can think of, and I don't even know, it's not a conspiracy theory, but people that believe something so strong with zero evidence is people who believe in Bigfoot. Like the fact that there are
Yeah.
literally like Bigfoot hunters, there's an association around finding Bigfoot. I love, in the same vein that you like watching the flat earthers, I love watching people like go and try and hunt Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And
So
then they'll
wait.
like find like poop on the ground and they're like, it's Sasquatch poop. And then like bag it up, send it to the lab. I was like, this is a wolf. Like it's clearly wolf feces. There's nothing else this could be. And they're like, oh, well, we'll go look again.
I think the best argument against flat Earth that I don't remember if I read it or heard it the other day is that if the Earth really were flat, wouldn't cruise lines be advertising the hell out of a 14-day trip to go see the edge of the world?
Right.
Yeah, right.
That, capitalism couldn't stop that.
No,
you know,
right.
like
my argument anytime somebody talks about it is always, you look throughout history, right? People have never gotten along. We have had wars and all sorts of, like, people as a whole have never always agreed and gotten along. And you expect me to believe that for thousands of years, we have all, like a certain group that do know the truth, apparently, have agreed to not tell anybody else. And they're all like, yeah, that's cool. So, Cold War, Russia's top scientists and America's top scientists within NASA, who, according to flat earthers, all know that the Earth is flat, and they just don't want to tell the truth. They're just basically training us from a young age to believe that it's a globe. During the Cold War, where they despised each other, they were like, "Hey, but one thing that we don't mess up here, we gotta keep the lie about the globe going." That's always my issue. Good luck with that.
Everything else is on the table, but we all agree we got to keep the flat Earth part secret.
Yeah, you cannot tell them.
I'm curious then, like, how many people who are flat earthers have not been in an airplane? Like, is that just? I feel like that just immediately tells you the answer you need.
They were on one of those cloudy flights where you don't really.
Well, so I mean, I do think there is a significant amount of people who have never been on an airplane before.
Yeah,
I've also heard it explained away by like, oh, it's caused by the curvature of the window, or
I was about to
stuff
say,
like that too. So.
there was one I saw. It was like a news interview or whatever, and the person was like, "So I got lucky enough to go on whatever one of those, I think, spaceships that Elon Musk shot into orbit with just with celebrities and stuff on it." And one of the people were like, "Yeah, I was lucky enough to get to go on that, and I could see from up there that the Earth, it was very clearly curved." And the guy goes, "What was the shape of the window?" the interviewer just starts dying laughing because he's like, "Are you serious?" Oh,
That's crazy.
No, it is. Those always entertain me. And one of my favorites that I've seen recently, and we can stop talking about this after this, but was apparently it's this whole thing of there's this small tight-knit group that they were scientists and they were all trying to prove that the Earth was flat. And they were talking about how, based on rotation, if you sat a gyroscope in one place, after an hour, you would see a 15-degree variation in the reading of the gyroscope. He said, but most gyroscopes you're going to get your hands on aren't that accurate. But apparently they've designed some sort of laser one that's incredibly precise, incredibly accurate, but they're super expensive. Well, somebody within this little small group went and dropped $20,000 of their own money to buy this laser gyroscope that's supposed to be like the most accurate thing you can get. And sure enough, he sat it on somewhere, fixed. And after 1 hour, there were exactly what they said would not happen, 15 degrees of deviation. And so it's just hilarious to me that this person who has committed their life to proving the Earth is flat dropped a huge chunk of change just to be like, "Oh, we were wrong." That one just gets me for some reason.
With flat Earth, with most conspiracy theories, like somebody is gaining something out of it. What do I lose or gain depending on what shape the Earth is? Like, if the Earth is flat, and I've been living on it and it's this lie, how does that affect my life?
I think it's the same as any conspiracy theory, just a general distrust of establishment. Not even government at that point.
Yeah, but
right?
like the government lies all the time, but like usually they gain something out of it. What are they gaining by hiding that the Earth is round or flat? Or
I mean, it's just a way to mess with a belief system. Like, at the end of the day, you question your belief system if something you believe as hard as flat earthers do, that it's not flat. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's a fundamental belief that is on a global scale. Globe, get it? And and then it's shattered and you don't know what to do. So
but you could make that argument with any conspiracy theory. What do you gain from proving we didn't land on the moon however long ago?
Right. It is a way to just shake up a belief that everyone has.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm intrigued now, Austin. What's your favorite?
So my favorite conspiracy theory, and it gained, I don't know if it was birthed during COVID or if it just really took off during COVID, but it's that birds aren't real. You heard this one?
Oh, yeah.
I thought this was a thing for a long time.
See, I first heard about it during COVID. There was actually a website created that was birdsaren'treal.com, and they created it purely out of satire. And I think at one point it gained so many users on that website that they up front, as soon as you get to their website, state this is all satire. that like this isn't a real belief, but COVID happened and everyone got bored. And so I think it just like blew up because people were looking for something. And one of the things that part of the birds aren't real conspiracy theory is that COVID-19 happened so they could change out the batteries in the birds.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
that,
I
I
hope
heard
it's
that
true.
part. That is brilliant.
Honestly,
I
I
was
hope
like,
it's true.
dang, that is such a great, like, I'm all in on this conspiracy theory. I am following this. And
That's
so
awesome.
it is like, it's just such a good one because it's that all birds are just drones for the government to spy on people, which makes me think of like, what's the purpose of having different sized birds?
Yeah,
like what?
Why'd they get
why
so
do you have like a
creative?
chickadee and then an eagle?
Battery
Yeah.
life
Camera lens. different.
and camera size.
Well, they had to do COVID-19 to change out the batteries. So I mean,
Well, but I thought they
So-
recharged on power lines.
Exactly. I was about to say, Austin, I'm about to shatter your whole theory because everyone knows that the robot camera birds all recharge when they perch on power lines.
see, that's another belief. Yeah.
I think instead of changing the batteries, I think they just had to clean the lenses on the cameras.
Probably. Yeah.
Or upgrade. I mean, because when was the last time they had a chance to really like upgrade the camera tech in them? They probably have better cameras and lenses now. So yeah, they probably just need to change out the lenses.
I
Hold on,
forget
hold
the
on.
date. I want to say was like this belief. I don't know if it started in the 60s or if that's where like they've kind of stated that surveillance technology had reached the point to where the government could start spying on us was like in the 60s. But that's kind of like the belief is like in the 60s, the government like wiped out birds and replaced them all with surveillance drones. And I was just like, I love this. I want to genuinely meet someone who truly believes this is real because this is the most fascinating thing to me that even Heather's best friend for my birthday bought me a shirt that says if it flies, it spies. And it is just my favorite shirt.
That's awesome.
That was on a
So-
iRacing paint scheme I ran for a while.
That's awesome.
That's
So,
awesome.
I would bet after, Snowden and all that happened, I would bet that theory probably took a big jump.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of like little things here and there that just kind of like fuel it. Like I don't think it was like its own original conspiracy theory. I'm pretty sure it branched off of another one of how the government spies on us because obviously they do. I know my phone does because it targets ads towards me. Like I have a huge like confirmed thing with my phone. If I ever just mention anything military related, anything like me saying this right now, I guarantee you in 2 days, I'm going to get an army ad on Reddit that I haven't gotten in 7 months. Like it's going to
yeah.
happen.
Facebook
Yeah.
does it. X does it. They all listen.
Yeah,
and
at some
tailor
point,
it.
that's not a theory anymore. They're definitely listening.
It's
I
listening.
think
So
Meta,
I mean,
Meta
like,
flat out admitted it. Like,
oh yeah,
Yeah, I think a lot of them did end up doing it during that whole, online privacy, online safety stuff where all of the big corporation CEOs were getting brought into the Supreme Court. I think most of them were basically saying, yeah, like it's listening. It can hear what you're saying. Which
I mean, it
you know,
has to because if I say, "Hey Siri," how is it not going to know
Exactly.
I'm talking to it? Like it has to be listening.
Exactly. But it talking about these different ones though, it makes me curious. Like, where does that desire, or not even desire, because I think it's easy for anybody. I think all of us can think of a scenario where we sat down and watched a video that was a little bit more conspiracy and kind of bought into it. And you're kind of like, yeah, I mean, I can see where they're coming from. Where, is it a matter of just wanting that drama, that mystery of this is what they said happened, but this isn't what happened? Or do you think it's more the people that are making these videos are just good at basically setting up the videos to where it sounds believable? It sounds convincing.
Well, I think people want to believe in something. I mean, you look, and not to get into a religious topic, but I mean, look at how many religions there are around the globe. around the globe, and you can
Flat
just see
earthers,
like
leave our podcast.
just all of our flat Earth listeners are gone.
Yeah, if you are a flat earther listening to this podcast, please let us know why.
Yeah, I'm curious, but
Can we
people
have
just want to
them on?
believe in something.
Would
Do
love to
what?
have them on.
I
I
don't
would
know that we
love
can
to have a
them
flat
on,
earther
but-
on.
But I think it is. It's just people want to believe in something. And a lot of times it's, I want to believe in something larger than myself. Like, we don't have the answers. We go to things seeking answers. Like, we are curious, like, people are just naturally curious. We always are trying to find something new, something bigger than ourselves for any number of reasons. So I think a lot of these conspiracy theories are just in that same vein of, I'm trying to find something that I can believe in that kind of just shakes what I believe or what other people believe is reality, to where it's just that, okay, this is what I'm going to stick my guns to, and I'm here.
Yeah, no, and if you really look at it, you can really categorize probably most every conspiracy theory into two channels. You've got the myth and legend, so you've got your Bigfoots, Loch Ness Monster, stuff like that. And then you've got the basically government cover up. Most of them will fit in those two groups somewhere, somehow. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think people just want to know. And it's this idea of this large scale. I mean, take any assassination of any president over the years. Like, it's this idea of cover up. It's this idea of this massive plot and plan to say, this is what happened. Don't question it, even though there's so many things that don't line up, don't add up, right? The one like I said, it got brought up earlier, the moon landing. I think we landed on the moon. I don't know though, and I'll never truly know the answer. And I think it's that idea of, I'll never 100% know if what all these people that are saying we didn't, if they're right or not, right? We may eventually, who knows, because a lot of the stuff about different assassinations and stuff came out recently and released documents, but still, I think that's the whole thing of, I'll never know.
Yeah. Well, and it goes along to, people just want to, I think we had this conversation before, of that people just want to be included. Like, people don't want to rock the boat sometimes. And so just depending on what camp they are, brought up in, is where their belief is. My favorite movie quote of all times is from Men in Black 1. And Tommy Lee Jones says, a person is smart. People are, I forget what it is, like moronic and idiotic or something along those lines. He's like, every 2,000 years ago, everybody knew that the earth was the center of the universe. 200 years ago, everybody knew the earth was flat. And 20 minutes ago, you thought we were the only beings in the universe. And so it's just this idea that, like, what are you brought up being told? And are you questioning those beliefs? And are you actually trying to seek an answer? Because, like, I believe that aliens quite possibly exist. I mean, the universe is so large, there has to be some other life out there. But I have not seen anything that is like hard fact of aliens are coming to visit us. Like, I've seen all the videos. I've seen all the things that are unexplained around it, but nothing has ever been there that is, for me, it's like, it's something I want to believe in. Do I think it's real? No, because I haven't seen anything that says this is real. And so it's just that, what do people hold on to believe in something? And are they actually challenging it to say if this is real or not?
Yeah, no, I mean, and your quote, by the way, I looked it up. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. And then the other portion of it, you were talking about 1,500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that humans were alone on this planet. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow. It is a good quote. I like that.
It's a fantastic quote. It is one of my favorite from a movie that I think is really grounded in reality. That it is just like, there is so much people will hang on to that they don't need to, and all you got to do is challenge it and then believe in the results you come to.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the topic, I know Austin and I, y'all probably didn't come prepared, but Austin and I have shared ours. Michael or Shane, do either of you have a favorite conspiracy theory, whether it's a you believe it or you just enjoy watching people that do believe it?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm kind of with Austin. I'm not sure it's a conspiracy theory so much as just a we don't know enough about it. Is aliens? I mean, I think again, like I said, I have a hard time believing it's a conspiracy theory because it's not like all of space and the universe has been explored. Again, it's not like it's not like flat Earth where there would be some sort of corporate greed thing happening that
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory so much as it is just an unknown. If we were going to go like straight conspiracy theory, have y'all ever heard of it? There's a group of people out there who believe that, and I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I've dug into it, but if I remember correctly, it's like a group of people who believe that there are like these like threads of material that grow under their skin, and it is a like, according to them, a like this foreign material, like it's made of elements that aren't found on Earth, and they believe aliens abducted them and do this, and I believe it's called Magellan's syndrome or something like that. Like I said, I don't know. It's been a long time. I kind of fell off of that one a long, long time ago. But I did find that kind of thing interesting. The people who like believe something is happening with their body, and like they totally believe doctors are just covering things up. Like they go to the doctor and the doctor's like, nope, like there's nothing there. And they just think it's a giant cover up. And yeah, I think I found that one really interesting for a while.
So-
Like I said, that and just kind of the offshoots of I don't know, what is it? Hypochondriac, basically. I mean, it is basically it's an extreme version of that where there's something wrong with me. I guess kind of that.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
I've never heard of that. I will say that is a completely new one to me, and I know what I'm going to be watching on
look it up
YouTube
now.
tonight before I go to bed.
I was say I need
But-
more information about this because this
Well,
sounds
he
right
was
up my
right.
alley.
He was right. Magellan syndrome is what it's called, and it is not an officially recognized medical condition, but what Google highlighted on just a simple search is skin lesions with crawling sensations, fatigue, joint pain, and the end is and delusions of infestation. So, but I guess it's not
Ugh.
officially considered a diagnosis.
Is
Yeah, that sounds.
Delusions of infestation
Yeah.
sounds horrible.
Wait, are these the-
symptoms?
Are these the
Go ahead,
bugs
Jay.
under your skin, people? That I like to make fun
I
of?
thi- I think
Or
those
is-
are called meth spiders.
Oh,
I think this could probably be considered an offshoot of it. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think it's like that there are creatures under the skin necessarily, more so that there are like fibers growing under the skin. Yeah, I think according to the medical field, it is an entirely psychological issue. And I think I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. I think it's Morgellons. I think Morgellons, if anybody wants to Google this. So
I just looked it up and Magellan came up. Magellan. So maybe these are two
I
different
think they're
things.
two
that are
different
similar.
things.
yeah,
It's-
maybe. I don't know.
So apparently part of this is one of the things is they think an underlying like diagnosis of I'm gonna butcher this word, delusional parasitosis is a rare psychiatric disorder characterized by the persistent or unshakable belief that one is infested with parasites despite the absence of any objective evidence. That would be terrifying.
That seems worse. What Mike made it sound like is these people had like a special metal under their skin, not necessarily
Yeah.
that they're infested with insects.
So maybe that is the more Magellan side of like it's like they think they're infested with something versus Michael's people think they're special. That's really
Yeah,
what
no,
it
no,
sounds
no,
like. I was
chosen.
abducted and they gave me this. I was chosen by the aliens.
Yeah, I originally heard of this on another podcast and kind of went down the rabbit hole that way. gosh, years and years ago. I might have still been in college at the time. I don't remember, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Like I said, I don't remember bugs being a part of it, but I do remember
Bizarre.
like skin sensation, fibers under the skin. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, like I said, I feel like I remember it being more like a lot of them thought it was alien
Yeah.
origin. But yeah, I don't know. I find that kind of stuff interesting of like what the brain can just make up.
Did none of them go to like a doctor or something and like get examined that like this wasn't there?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like they go to doctors say there's nothing there, and they just believe it's a giant cover up,
Yeah.
and that the doctors are in on it and just lying to them. It's a psychiatric disease, is what it is.
Yeah.
Is
That's
this
I
not
was about to say
just-
that's
Schizophrenia?
Well,
I'm
no,
sure
because
it kinda,
schizophrenia is a multiple personality disorder.
Oh.
well, not always. Not
No,
always.
I thought that was the primary thing about schizophrenia was it
Now
was
I think it's the other way around.
personality
is
based.
Multiple personality disorder kind of includes schizophrenia, but oftentimes schizophrenia is just seeing things. Or I think it just like anything, any other psychological disease, I think it can show itself in a million different fashions. But I could be wrong. Maybe you're right on that. I don't want to.
Yeah, I
Be for
don't actually
sure.
think schizophrenia means multiple personality.
No, I don't
Schizophrenia,
believe so.
you can be a schizophrenic and just kind of be in a heightened state of paranoia,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily have what is now classified as dissociative identity disorder, which is what used to be called split personality.
Yeah. Well, I have
I
a.
mean, you know, fair enough. It's one of those things I haven't really dug into in a long time. But yeah, that
have-
like I said, that's the kind of stuff I used to like. I mean, like I said, it's fascinating. Like your entire like perception of reality is controlled by this thing that we kind of understand and we kind of don't.
The brain.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just like we get how it works some of the time, but then there's other times that it's like, why is it doing that to that person? You know?
Right.
I don't know. It's just fascinating, right? That somebody's perception of reality could be so entirely different than, I mean, you know, look at Tyler versus the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, out of my freaking mind over here.
Well, there is something just to validate Mike's point is that there is so much of the brain we just like don't understand. Like go and look at the research of just how memory works and it will make you question yourself.
It's insane. It is actually insane.
Wild that you can actually, as you age, your mind will literally warp your memories without you being aware of it. Just, and to me, that is a terrifying reality. That something I have so hardly believe in might not have happened the way it originally did. And at one point, I believed it the true way, that I knew it was the way that it was, but my mind just kind of gave up on the details and just filled it with other things that was convenient. And that in and of itself makes me kind of question what is real, because my mind will eventually just kind of eat itself naturally.
And to add to that, right, the flip side of that is it is extremely common and happens on small scales to people all the time, like every day probably, of you remember something a certain way and maybe it's a little lie or maybe it's a little bit of I think I did it this way, and you will fully convince yourself of that in like no time flat, to the point where that is exactly how you remember it, whether or not it actually happened that way. Lying to yourself enough to the point where you believe it is a real thing, which is bizarre to think that you can do.
Yeah.
But with the brain, like that's Michael, exactly what you're talking about of why does the brain do that to this person? It's because I think we want to think our brain, which is obviously ours, it's us. Our brain does not care about the rest of us. It's one of those bizarre things of like if you were freezing, for example, your brain will kill you everything else about you if it thinks that's what it needs to do to keep itself alive. It is entirely self-serving. It will destroy the rest of your body to keep itself alive, which is a bizarre thing to think about.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, Shane, what's your favorite conspiracy theory?
I don't know if I have a favorite one, but the one I believe in the most would probably be the moon landing one. Like, I can see that happening because it isn't something that I wouldn't do myself. Yeah, we lied about this thing so that we win. Like, I don't know.
That
Okay,
one
so
probably-
do you think that the original moon landing was faked and then we have landed on it since then?
No, I
we
think
were just
we
doing
landed,
it-
I think we've landed on the moon, but if we didn't, like, I can 100% see the government lying to beat the Soviets.
Okay, so you think
Yeah,
it might have
I'll
just been
agree
like
with
we're doing it to win, not we're doing it to
Yeah,
actually advance
Because
anything?
it wasn't like, yeah, we're going to the moon for science. The buzz about it was we were going to beat the Soviets.
I
It
gotcha.
definitely has one of the most believable motives, I would say. I think you're spot on there.
Right. But it does also sound like a very American thing for us to just be like, someone else is trying to do this. We're going to do it first.
And actually do it. It sounds very American that we
Yeah.
actually pulled it off, too. That's the thing.
Well,
Yeah.
either way, it works because I can also see,
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're going to lie about it so we can say that we did it first. Like, and then, maybe no one has been on the moon. Yeah, that's probably the one. I don't know. If I haven't spent a whole lot of time with conspiracy theories lately. That would probably be the one just off the top of my head.
Well, yeah, when I think of common ones, that one's...
Yeah, I agree with Shane on that one. Like, like the moon landing is a fascinating one because like I said at the top, there are some believable elements of it. Of like, oh, okay, I kind of could see what they mean by this. And yeah, it's every day it gets harder to trust the government. So,
True.
anything that was government based kind of becomes a little questionable. But, I do believe we landed there, but it is fascinating to see because there are realistic arguments about it versus some of the others that there's just no realistic argument about what happened. Yeah, I find it interesting. I find the moon landing to be a particularly interesting one as well.
Y'all believe in ghosts?
Don't know, and I really, really don't want to find out. That's
what
where
you're
I
okay
stand.
keeping a 6-foot pole from.
Yeah, like I don't know, and I do not want to find out. That is my standing on that without a doubt.
I did when I was younger, but going back and rewatching Ghost Adventures will make you not believe in ghosts or any of
I
those.
can't
like,
stand Ghost
shows.
Adventures.
Like,
They're
we heard a
insane
noise
people.
and then everyone gets scared.
Well, see, I watched Ghost Adventures. For me, Ghost Hunters was the one that I liked because they weren't there to prove ghost exists. They were there to disprove that the house was haunted. And so, like, one of the co-stars or the co-host of the show, it was something like, I forget what it was. It was like something like 14 to 16 episodes into the show before he actually ever admitted that a place could be haunted. So to me, that was more of the, we're not trying to get out here and, get the money for proving ghosts exist. Like, their whole thing was actually to disprove that these places were haunted. And so for me, I always liked that angle of it as far as just I guess from a scientific standpoint of, we're not here to further our beliefs. We're here to come to a reasonable conclusion.
Yeah,
However,
but does
go
reasonable
on.
conclusion lead to entertaining television?
That's a great point.
they made it entertaining. I mean, they had 7 or 8 seasons.
Like, I've never watched the show, but it sounds very boring if they went to 16 houses before they found anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is it does kind of go back to our previous conversations. It's all stuff people are interested in. I think there was like 8 seasons of Ghost Hunters, and a lot of what they started off with was like going to people's houses that people were scared of their house, thinking my house might be haunted. And it was a lot of the times they would go there to give people relief. Like, that was what I forgot what the Atlantic Paranormal Society is what the group they founded was. And it wasn't to go out there and prove ghosts was real. It was to go out and prove or to give people relief and give them answers. Because early on, it was going to people's houses and saying, no, your house is not haunted. Or, hey, there might be something here, but it's not a violent entity. And so it wasn't until they actually got big in the show that they went to like more famous haunted places. Like they went around the globe. They went to England, around the globe, and they would go to other places that were known to be haunted, that thousands of people have had sightings, where it's like, okay, now we're just here to record and capture
See, I think
these
people
events.
sold out. They went to the no-name places first, and then because you're trying to sell ghost television, so the people that aren't interested in ghosts aren't gonna watch, and the people that care about ghosts are not gonna keep coming back if you don't find a ghost.
Again, I feel like you're arguing a weird point there, though, because he keeps repeating that they had 8 seasons. Clearly, people kept coming back.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did watch Ghost Adventure, and it was very much that there's a sound, oh my God, there's ghosts. And that annoyed the hell out of me. I do like the way that Ghost Hunters did it, where it was more of a no, like, we as a group believe ghosts exist. We are not here to make that point. We are here to actually try and debunk to where the only other explanation could be a ghost. So for me, that was like, oh, I'm about this. Like, yeah, let's go and figure out what this could have been. To where you then, and just because I am a sciencey nerd, that, okay, what explains this from a scientific standpoint? That was then, oh, that's actually a really cool trick that could happen that an average person wouldn't understand, that is just light refracting in such a way it creates something that looks like a human. Like, to me, that was really cool.
So was this more like Mythbusters but ghost related?
I mean, it's just they were a group, and I believe it's the Atlantic, so the East Coast, that they funny enough, the two people who started that society, they were plumbers, and they just met each other and had a shared interest in the paranormal. And so what they did is they were, like I said, very low key. They were actually working for the company Roto-Rooter when the show started. And they were actually asking for extra time off from their plumbing jobs to go and film the show. So it was that's what, to me, like, grounded it. It's just not, these people had like a buttload of money. Like, one of the, you're talking about sellouts, one of the co-hosts who actually ended up having to leave the show because he wanted to spend more time with the family and the show was taking too much away from him. They went to the Stanley Hotel, where Stephen King wrote The Shining, and they did an investigation there, and people were calling him a sellout because they thought he had like an Audi key, and he was like, here is the key from the show. I drive a Hyundai. Like, it was just like, I don't know what y'all think of, like, I sold out, like, here's the key. So it was really cool just to like see people who like were such, just, you can tell they weren't there to be on film. Like, they were just the most average, normal people you have ever met. And they had an interest, and their interest took off. And to me, like, you can feel that throughout the entire show. Like, that it was purely like the crew that filmed it was just like a documentary crew filming these guys in their hobby. And it was just like entertaining. So, I don't know. For me, like, Ghost is one of those things that, like, it's hard for me to not believe in. I'll share a fun story that I had, a paranormal story that I had. I had a friend who was a single mom, had 3 kids, and I met her because a friend of mine wanted to get into acting, and she was a longtime local, like, civic theater actor. And then she wrote her own play. And so she was trying to like find people to come and be a part of that play. Well, my friend, he wanted to, this was like his, like, all right, I'm going to start with this and then see where it goes. He has actually now done a movie before, and I'm super proud of him, and that's awesome. But he's like, I want to start with this. And he's like, will you do it with me? I was like, yeah, sure. I'd love to. I was like, I did acting. I did theater in high school. Well, what's the worst that could happen? And so I went and tried out and I got a role. It's like, okay, cool. And so me and the person who wrote this story became really, really good friends. And unfortunately, the second show we ever did, she fell from the stage and broke her ankle. And so I was a young 20-year-old. She was about mid 30s. And she was like I said, single mom, and her middle child had cerebral palsy. And so it was really hard for her to take care of her kids. Well, I was working at Office Depot. Like, I've got free time. Like, let me go and be a good human being and help her out. And so I found myself over at her house like 4 nights a week, helping her take care of her kids, helping her, like, it was so bad that like I was actually having to help her bathe because it was truly a bad thing. And so like one night she was like, we became very close in all of this. And she goes, "Hey, I've got something weird that I want to talk to you about." And I'm like, "Okay." She goes, "I have a friend who lives in New Mexico and he astral projects to me." And I'm like, "You didn't need to say something weird. You could have started with that and you had me hooked." Like, this is my world that I spend watching videos on in my free time. Like, I am in, tell me what I need to do to be a part of this. And she's like, "Well, he said he's going to come visit tonight. Do you want to be here or would that be too weird?" I'm like, "I am down." Like, you just, yes. And so she's talking about how long he's known her and all of this stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, what do we have to do? I have to do something? Like, is there like you tell me what? She's like, "No, we're just going to chill in my room."
Secret handshake.
Yeah, do I need to take my clothes off? Or
yeah, you tell me what I like. Is there a ceremony? Do I need to put like lamb's blood on my forehead? Like, I'm in. And she's like, "No, we're going to turn the lights off." And
this woman could have convinced Austin to do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a young 20-year-old. Like, she had me in the palm of her hands. So we're sitting in her bed, lights off, and then she starts telling me that like all of this imaging happening. And at first I'm out to disprove it because I know she has a really bad mold allergy and she was living in a double wide trailer at the time that had a really bad mold problem. I was like, "Oh, this feels like I know people who have had bad mold allergies that just see visions, and that's just a symptom of mold." And so I was like, "Oh, this is just her." Yeah. If you have a bad mold allergy, you can have hallucinogenic visions if you are hyper allergic to black mold.
See, Ma, I told you I wasn't crazy. We just had mold at the house.
Yeah, it is actually a symptom of if you're allergic to black mold is hallucinations. But I was like, this sounds like a hallucination. Like because she's describing everything like out the window. And then all of a sudden she's like, "The guy's here." I'm like, "Cool, where is he? Because I don't see him." And she's like, "He's over there in the corner." And I'm like, I got nothing. Like, is there anything I can do to see this guy? And she's like, "Well, he's like, if we maybe like hold our hands together, maybe we'll be able to see him, or you'll be able to see him." And I was like, "Okay, this is like, all right, I was so excited about this and there's nothing here." I was like, "Can I try something?" And she's like, "He seems a little uncomfortable with that, but what is it?" And I go, "Okay, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to your bed and I'm going to hold up fingers behind my back. And I want him to tell you the number I'm holding behind my back. That's it. It's not invasive. It's the simplest way I can figure out how to prove if there's someone else in this room." And she goes, "He seems okay with that." And sure enough, I go to the foot of her bed and I still remember the numbers to this day. So I'm going to do it 3 times. And I held up 3 behind my back and she goes 3. I held up 5. She goes 5. And I hold up a 1 and she goes 1. I was like, "Shit, there's a guy here." Like, I can't explain that. Like that is not like
I
I
can.
didn't see someone there. We're in a pitch black room, and she gets it 3 out of 3 times.
I can explain that.
Go on.
Luck. You ever pick the
no.
winning Powerball numbers?
No, I haven't, and that's why I know it wasn't luck. Because no one goes to the Powerball once and wins. People who win the Powerball play it 10,000 times and then they finally
Yeah,
win.
but that was her 10,000th time.
I doubt it, man. Like that something about it just did. And here's the thing. She tells me about this, right? The next day, the guy who it was is a guy that she grew up with who lives in New Mexico,
In
emailed
Roswell?
her. Actually not far off. I think it's about 15 miles east of Roswell is where he lives. It's actually where she grew up. And so he emailed her saying how nice it was to come and visit and see that there was a man in her house that was genuinely caring for her. And he could describe what I was wearing
Did you
in
see this
the email. I saw the email. And that was like the moment that I'm like, all of these things that I want to believe in, like as far as like a paranormal thing, because to me that's always been an interest, but I've never experienced anything. To have something like that, it's like that seems cool to me because it's not, like I said, it's not invasive. It's not, there's no good or bad. It's neutral. Like if she didn't want him there, he couldn't be there. Apparently a part of this whole thing. Like it has to be like a willing thing. I don't know. I don't know all the details. I was also like 12 years ago. So my memory is
So what is this called again? I need to Google
astral projection. And
I
so
feel like
like
that's something we did in Destiny.
yeah, right. I think we did it during a raid or two. But it is one of those things that is just like, I can't explain it. It was a really cool experience, even though I wasn't able to experience it fully. One of the things that I know in my whole ghost watching adventures that I have done over the last 20 years of my life is that like apparently certain people are more attuned to paranormal stuff than others, which honestly, that makes a lot more sense the more you think about how sensitive certain people are to certain, like any kind of feelings like heat and anything like that, like any kind of sense, some people have better senses of. And so it's just, to me, that was just kind of one of those like moments that it was just like, is this going to change like my belief? Like my whole belief system is going to collapse? No. But it was just one of those times that it's like, here is something paranormal I cannot explain. And there is more than one way to back up that it actually happened.
So if I'm gathering from the story correctly, your friend and this guy in New Mexico, they were both communicating with this?
Yes.
Okay.
So apparently how it works is like he can't just astrally project anywhere he wants. Like he can't just be in like London. There has to be like a connection with a person. And so it has to be like some kind of familiar understanding between one another for him to like basically go to where they are. And that's how it was explained to me. So I don't know if that's his rule. I don't know if other people can astral project and just go wherever they want. If they can, I'd like to have that skill because I just want to go walk around the rainforest sometimes just to see what's happening. That would be dope. But it was just kind of one of those that like it, even telling the story, I can see where skepticism can be. It is truly one of those things that like I wish someone else could have been there to experience it the same, to back me up on it kind of thing. That it's just like, to me, it was real. To other people, I don't blame you if you don't believe that that story's true or not.
I mean, I have no reason to call you a liar. I'm just trying to go. This is okay. The AI says it is possible to communicate with others. So you know what? If AI is saying it is,
If AI says it, it's got to be true.
AI must
Good
be
enough.
telling the truth.
The AI knows how to communicate. But
I
and
think
that was like
Austin
the
would
whole
believe a
thing is
ghost
that
before he
like
believes AI.
they two were communicating. I couldn't communicate with him, but he could see me. And so it's just like, that's kind of where that whole like, because it's like I said, at the beginning of it, I was like, okay, I was hoping for something and nothing's happening. This is the only way I can think of to prove that someone is here. Is let me hold up something that he can see that you can't, and he just relays the message, and it's like 3, 5, 1. It's like shit. All right, this is real. I'm here. I can't do anything.
You should have picked an even number. You picked all odd numbers.
I feel like that would have been the move. You throw an even in there, then I don't know.
You
go
won
odd
like
3 times in a row.
1 because there's a pattern.
I didn't want to hold up
Oddly-
2. I didn't want to hold up 2
Odd-
hands behind my back. I just want to hold up 1.
Well, if he can see one hand, he can see 2.
Oddly enough, this is exactly why Brittle couldn't be here tonight.
I thought he had a TikTok date.
That was a joke. I wasn't gonna put that out there.
He's
but
astral projecting with
I
somebody
was just
else.
yeah. He's
Of all the
taking care of
people
some
you
chick he
think
knew
can
broke
do
her
astral
ankle and
projection, you
astrally
think Brittle's the guy?
Yeah, right. No, so my in all seriousness, like my whole thing with it is, and again, Austin, I was quiet during that because I really didn't know how to react, because my natural desire is to not believe it. And I don't think it comes anywhere from wanting to say you're wrong or that's not possible. It has nothing to do with that. It's again, I go back. I can't say one way or the other if I believe it or I don't. I don't want to find out. And my idea is
I
that
just
the
don't want
more
to have any piece of this pie whatsoever.
yeah, the more accepting of the possibility I am, the more I feel like my chances are of something happening. I don't want it to happen. I'm super observant. If I observed something that I thought might be, I would turn a blind eye to it in a heartbeat. I would walk the other way. Not I can't even think of the word I'm looking for, but I would literally and physically turn around and walk away. I'd be like, nothing happened. I didn't see nothing. What are you talking about? Pots falling from the sky out of nowhere? Nope, that must have been gravity. Who knows? I do not want to find out. I don't want to take a chance.
Tyler, I have a challenge.
So I hope-
where this all came from for me, and this kind of just like goes into like how I like to mess with people. So I raised Christian, still believe in the Bible and stuff like that. But if you read the Bible in the Old Testament, one of the most famous stories is of King David. But that whole thing starts off with King Saul resurrecting Solomon to talk to him. And it made me think, this is in the Bible where a man resurrected someone else to talk to him. And we don't think as a Christian faith that ghosts don't exist?
Well,
What do you mean?
And that, you could, and you know, so if my grandmother is an incredibly religious person, and if you ask her, she will say, I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe in spirits.
Yeah,
so-
and people, I've heard that, but it's just like,
Yeah.
what do you like?
What's the
What's the
difference, for one?
difference?
Yeah.
Like,
So,
but yeah,
um,
that was something that literally started me on the train of like, do ghosts exist? As I read that story, and then I questioned, people in my leadership of faith about it, and like, oh, we don't talk about that. I'm like, why? Like, it's we're supposed to believe this thing. Why not
Yeah.
believe it?
well, and this could turn into a whole nother conversation. I know we probably don't have time for this, but to kind of get like base level of it, there's a lot of examples of stuff in the Bible where it's not as much a bad translation, but more so that there were different words for things. A good example of is one of the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, and people always talk about war and all that. Well, and I guess it was Hebrew, whatever the language the Bible was originally written in, they had two different words for kill. One of them more meant kill in its most basic form, hunting animals, stuff like that, or sorry, not hunting animals, but like killing people. And then there was a different one for hunting, right? And I would bet to what you're talking about with the whole resurrection thing, they may not mean resurrect in the way we think of it now, of physically raising the dead body. Right? It could have been a spiritual thing. It could have been I guess at that point it wouldn't be an astral projection, but more of I'm speaking to the spirit or the ghost.
Well, yeah, and that's what it
King
was.
Saul,
It was
right?
it was speaking to the ghost of King
Yeah.
Solomon.
So that's, yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I'm right
it's
there
just
with you,
one of
but-
those things that like I just to wrap the bow on the conspiracy stuff. I feel like there is so many things that there is some grain of truth in that then just gets blown out. Like, is there monitoring technology? Not necessarily a bird that is a drone, but is there some kind of surveillance? Yes, we know that to be true. And then we blow it up to, oh, birds aren't real. Or we're in, like Shane said, we're in a race with the Soviets to get to the moon. It's very possible that we faked it to say we did it first. Now, we know that there is the evidence left with the American flag that, okay, that's real. But I mean, all of these things, like people believing in ghosts, people believing in aliens, all of it just is, it's grounded with some sand of truth in something else. Something else brought us here. It wasn't just this just fell into our lap.
Yeah, and all of those things you just said apply to every conspiracy theory except for flat Earth. Those people are just making stuff up.
Yeah,
and
those
they're out of
people
their
are
minds.
insane.
And with that, what a great discussion on conspiracy theories. Michael, tell the people all the things they need to know now.
Yeah, you
Wow.
can like and subscribe, rate and
Nailed
review,
that
all the good
one.
things. Yeah, thanks for throwing that one at me. Yeah, like and subscribe, rate and review, all the good stuff. Tell a friend, help us get the word out. You can find us on all the socials. Not all the socials. You can find us on a lot of the socials.
You can't find us on Truth. You can't do it. We're not there.
Yeah, we're not there. We're not on Mastodon.
I forgot about Mastodon.
The heck is that?
Could be a lot of flat
I don't
earthers
actually
there.
know. I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
I've
But
heard
yeah,
of it.
we're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on Instagram, we're on Threads and Blue Sky. And if you are listening to this and want to see some of the visual material from past episodes, we didn't really have any this episode. We didn't look much up. Shane started to, but we never got around to them before we needed to
Oh.
wrap. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you ever want to see some of the visual elements of the podcast, we do have a video version on our YouTube. You can go check that out there, especially for the Tube supplemental that just came out a couple weeks ago. That's a good one to you know, just see what we're talking about as far as a video podcast. So give it a look. But yeah, otherwise, we at the time that this comes out, we will have just wrapped up our 10th 24-hour live stream raising money for Children's Miracle Network. I would love to be able to tell you how much we raised, but we do record these 2 weeks in advance.
How do you think we did?
I think we did it.
You think we did it?
I think we did too.
I think we did too.
I think we raised over $25,000, which would
Hey, Mike,
mean
did you
that
get my
we
text today?
raised- No.
What a time to ask.
Shit.
I couldn't have waited
But
a
also,
few minutes.
I was in the middle of transferring phones, so that could have been part of it.
I think that might have been it. Anyways, that's the side part.
Yeah.
Feel
Text
free to
me
cut this
again.
out of the podcast.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Yeah. All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, yeah, we just
No.
wrapped up.
Now you got to keep it in after
I, was
that.
gotta keep
so,
it
I
up.
thought, well, no, you started counting. I thought we were syncing. I was about to start counting with you.
No, that was
4, 5, 6. Wait, hold on.
No, that was an edit point for me.
Well, now you can't take it out.
No, I can't take it out. But yeah, find us on social media. We will we stream weekly. We're going to be working on getting more recorded content out, Let's Plays and such. So yeah, keep an eye on the social channels. Just look for us, Roundabout Gaming, Roundabout Podcast.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
day
it's gonna
we'll
be fun.
promote Shane from non-committal to partially committal.
Maybe someday we'll have a video showing Shane completing his first game.
Hang on, I beat the Ender Dragon in Minecraft. Does that count?
Do you have all the
But you
achievements?
didn't get all the achievements?
Probably not.
Yeah, there we go. Non-committal.
All right.
With that,
Give it-
thank y'all. We will see you in a week. And thank you for whoever did come in, check out our 24-hour stream. We are super excited about how well we did. And we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.
Goodbye.